Hey, this is Chris from Rekkid Talk, and I'm jumping on a topic that's been going around the last few days, and it's Mazzy did it, Lost Mixtapes, Amity Tracks. It's called 10 Terrible Albums by Artists That I Love, and I think this topic or something along those lines, showing bad albums by somebody you like, certainly not something that's novel in the last few days. It's been going around for a while. I've kind of done my sort of takes on it before, but I'm going to kind of follow along, acting like this is a thread. For reasons, I'm going to end up showing mostly CDs today. The reason being, well, these are all artists I love, so I own lots of albums by all these people, and these are ones that I bought on CD, and they're the ones that I don't like very much, and I never play them. And I haven't gotten rid of them for basically completist purposes, but I'm not buying them in another format because that doesn't seems like I should spend my money on a new record or upgrading a record I actually like. So let's get into the 10 terrible albums by artists that I love. First of all, I think it's actually de rigueur, if you're going to do this thread, that you have to show your least favorite Neil Young record. And so I'm going to show my least favorite Neil Young record. Now, some of you are going to say Trans and you're nuts because Trans is actually really cool. I'm going to say it's A Letter Home. And so this is cover songs. There'll be more about cover songs a little bit later in the video. They were recorded in this Make Your Own Record booth that Jack White has. This came out on Third Man Records. The sound quality is absolutely horrible on this. It was on sale at my local record store, and I said, oh, look, Neil Young record for sale at the record store on Third Man Records. I should buy it. And no, I shouldn't have bought it. So that's my Neil Young entry. My next entry is going to be the controversial one, because most of the records I'm picking are going to be like standard ones that people don't really like all that much, but this is one that devoted fans of this band, a lot of them love this, and I'm going to catch grief in the comments down below. Tell me what a jerk face I am. Iron Maiden, seventh son of a seventh son. So they're getting into progressive metal, and here's my thing. I find this record to be really, really boring with some really cringy songs. Back when I had an iPod, I had like a Iron Maiden comp on it. That Can I Play With Madness would be an instant skip. The Evil That Men Do, I think I would usually actually listen to it. It's about as good as it gets on this record. But I mean, basically I've got like 15 Iron Maiden CDs there, and I'm keeping this just kind of like to keep the set. I think I have all of them except the Blaze Bailey ones. And so, I mean, The Evil That Men Do is probably the second worst Iron Maiden song after the Daughter to the Slaughter one. I think it's even worse than those really boring epics on like Senjutsu that you don't actually listen to anyway. So I know I'm going to get slayed for that one. Next one's going to be another classic British traditional metal band, but this one I don't think I'm going to catch grief for, because this is the one that all the metal guys seem to like to make fun of. It's Judas Priest Turbo, 1986. I think it was actually the same year. Was Seventh Son 86? That was 88, so this one was a few years later. And I'm going to say I actually like Turbo better than I like Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, because there's actually two songs on here that I really like. I actually really like the Turbo Lover song. Yes, I know it's got synths and it sounds it can almost be kind of dancey, and you guys don't like that. I think Out in the Cold is a really cool song. It could have been on a better Judas Priest album, but the rest of this album is fucking horrible. Private Property, Parental Guidance, Wild Nights, Hot and Crazy Days, cringe, 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 cringe. I mean, these guys were really too old at this point to be writing lyrics this cringy. Next few we're going to get into some more sort of alternative rock bands. The theme for the next few ones are basically going to be records that were on a major label that might have actually been the best-selling, top-charting this group ever had, but it's not the ones that people think of as their classic, and they don't talk much about these days. So there's Sebadoh with the Sebadoh from 1999. This came out on Sire. I think it was the last one they came out with on Sire. And the Prince Tiny, and I can't be bothered to read all these song titles. I think there was one song on here that was kind of popular. But, I mean, when I reach for Sebadoh, I'm certainly not reaching for the Sebadoh. So, then, of course, there's the Replacements, and it's fun to make fun of the last couple of Replacements albums, because they had that great stretch, and then Don't Tell a Soul, which would be the second to the last Replacements one. It's just not up to snuff. It's not up to You Were Rolling Along with Tim, Let It Be, Pleased to Meet Me, and then we have this, and again, also along the theme of, it's also on Sire, by the way, on the theme of when I reach for a Replacements record, I'm not reaching for this one. And then there's Mudhoney. The weird thing about Mudhoney is that basically there are 3 records on reprise, however you're supposed to say it, I think are the 3 worst records in their catalog. Sort of terrible timing on their part, so they're on a major label. It's 1992. Every cool grunge band's been signed, and Nirvana's having hits, and Pearl Jam's having hits, and Soundgarden's having hits, and Alice in Chains are having hits, and Mudhoney are like a piece of urinal cake, and they released this record that's not really very good, and they released a few more things that weren't really very good, and then they limped back to Sub Pop, and then they became awesome again. While we're talking about peace, I guess I have to admit that I don't love every single Juliana Hatfield record ever. I won't go as far as saying this one is terrible, but I will say that this is my least favorite of the Juliana Hat. So we had a piece of urinal cake, and now we have Peace and Love. And so this came out in 2010. Ye Olde Records, which was basically Juliana. This record was composed, arranged, performed, produced, engineered, and mixed entirely by Juliana Hatfield. Somebody else did master it, but and so this is very much she had like a 8-track recorder that recorded like Cee Dee that she used at home. It's mostly acoustic guitar. It's very mellow. It's very coffee house-ish, and that's not really what I want from Juliana Hatfield. I want more melodies. I want her playing electric guitar. I want her playing some keyboards. I just don't want her strumming acoustic guitar like she's Phoebe Buffay. So Peace and Love. This is probably the most valuable record I'm showing today. That early 2010s Ye Olde Records. These things are long out of print, and not many were ever made. Then along the lines of Boston Alternative, we've got the Lemonheads with Varsins 2 from about, 5 or 6 years ago, 2018. Oh, it sort of looks like the Sex Pistols on the back. And again, this is a bunch of cover songs as well. And if you didn't catch, Robert Fithen did a recent video where he was kind of putting down that he felt that the vast majority of covers records and tribute records were trash. Now, Juliana does a lot of them, and I think she actually does a pretty good job with them. She puts a lot of care into, I think she takes them as seriously as the records with her own songs on it, as far as choosing material, arranging, performing it. Evan Dando, on the other hand, it's sort of like, yeah, I haven't released a record in years and years, and I haven't written any songs. Here's some songs I kind of like, and I'll write down like a list on like a scrap of paper, and we'll go whip them out in the studio. This just doesn't, this isn't just carefully done stuff. There was a Varsins 1, which was pretty damn similar and not really all that good either, that came out about 10 years before this. Then let's make fun of Liz Phair. So you might be thinking, oh, I'm going to make fun of that Liz Phair self-titled record in the early 2000s where she was working with like the hit producers, and she was trying to be like Avril Lavigne, and she was trying to be like a teenage pop star, but in her late 30s. No, the one that came after that was even worse. Somebody's Miracle. Yeah, there's not much miraculous about this record. So you got a bunch of songs that you're not going to remember. And of course, if you're going to listen to Liz Phair, you're going to go listen to Exile in Guyville or maybe Whip Smart. You're not going to reach for Somebody's Miracle. And so that was like 8 CDs in a row. You're saying, well, let's see some jazz. Let's see some jazz on vinyl. Okay, so there's not many jazz artists that I have enough records by to really put them in the artists I love category. But this is one of them. And so this guy has hard bop from the 60s. He's got his funk in the 70s, electro in the 80s. It's Herbie Hancock. But he has this really crappy record from, I think, 1980, 1979, same deal. Feet Don't Fail Me Now. And so I found this in a bargain bin. I was going like, oh, it's Herbie Hancock in a bargain bin. It's got to be good. It turned out that no, it didn't have to be good. So this was before Rocket, and Rocket's pretty cool. I like that. It was after like Headhunters, and Headhunters is cool. And then the early Blue Note stuff and the Wandishi stuff, which is all good. And Feats Don't Fail Me Now. These feats failed. So there you go. There's some 10 terrible albums by artists I love. I didn't even have enough time. I've already gone through 10, so I can't do any like shitty REM records or shitty U2 records. Songs of whatever, everyone will pick that. Shitty Slater Kinney records, the ones without Janet. But there you go.